Hey, what is up, you guys? It is Tyler. Welcome back to the Tyler Williams channel. Welcome to another video. This is your Mae Young Classic review. It is now week 5. I think it's week 5 of the Mae Young Classic. It is the start of the... Technically, it's not the quarterfinals. It is the... Well, first is the entry level. Then it's the start of the qualifying round. The qualifying round to the Mae Young Classic. 16 women made it on, but only 8 will make it on to the quarterfinals. Who will it be? We're going to find out half of those women here and now. And I'll say, this is a pretty star-stacked card. I mean, just about every big name that entered in was basically on this card. Not to say that all the names in next week's cards not going to matter, but this one had Toni Storm, Meiko Satomura, Katie Catanzaro, Rhea Ripley, Mercedes Martinez. There's only one dud in this card, but other than that, just about every match was either good, decent, or above. So let's get into it. So the first match we had started off strong with Toni Storm versus Hiroyo Matsumoto. I said last week, Hiroyo was not really impressive to me. I don't get why they call Lady Godzilla, especially when she's not really that tall or big. But she actually had a pretty good match with Toni Storm here. And you could say, oh, well, obviously, because Toni Storm carried the match. But no, I think Hiroyo held her own weight, and they had some good chemistry. They battled out a good, 10 or so minutes. Hiroyo, at one point, I gotta say this, because this looked like I could not have been in this move. This might be because she's a Joshi wrestler, and they be doing this shit in Japan. I don't know how Toni Storm put up with it. Hiroyo Matsumoto locked in a Boston Crab. Walls Jericho, whatever. Now, usually everyone's like, oh, well, Boston Crabs are pretty worthless. I've been locked in a Boston Crab, and, I could take a nap and wake up and still be comfortable in that spot. But here's how it looked like. Hiroyo Matsumoto, she had locked in. Now, she was contorting back. She was pulling back on the legs of Toni, and she was selling, of course. But then she started going further and further and further and further until she was literally sitting on the back of Toni Storm. I was like, oh, hell no. Hell no, I could not do that Boston Crab. She was sitting on Toni Storm. Toni Storm was screaming and shit. Of course, she had to get up at one point so that way Toni Storm could get to the ropes. But still, she was sitting on her at one point. I was like, oh, hell no. I couldn't do it. Toni Storm, let me just say, Toni Storm also hit some of the best German suplexes in wrestling. Now, I think a lot of this is due in part to the person taking the move. They have to sell it really well in order for it to look good. Jinny, last time she was in the ring with Toni Storm at the Mae Young Classic, she sold those German suplexes like death. And Hiroyo Matsumoto, she sold one of the German suplexes like death too. I mean, she did a whole flip on her head and everything. And then one bridging German suplexes looked beautifully executed by Toni Storm. So I just had to point that out. Like, Toni Storm, she just does some really great German suplexes. There were also some good moves here. Matsumoto hit a diving knee drop off the top rope. Like, she was on the middle rope, and she leaped off and just dug her knees right into the stomach of Toni Storm, only for a close 2 count. Matsumoto hit her finisher. I don't know what she calls it, but it's basically just a Saito suplex, which isn't anything special. Onto Toni, but it was broken up by her foot for a rope break. Would have been a 3 count if it wasn't there, though. No, it wouldn't have. Anyway, she then went on to hit some very hard-hitting clotheslines, some lariats. You guys know how lariats are a big thing in Japan. So she hit 2 consecutive lariats, going for a third, but Toni Storm reverses it for a Zack Sabre Jr.-like roll-up pin for the 3 count. Toni Storm wins the match and is making it onto the quarterfinals. Good match. Good match. No complaints. We then get on to the next match. A match I was excited for. Katie Catanzaro versus Rhea Ripley. Casey impressed everyone in her first match against Reina Gonzalez, especially because she's only been training for a few months. Rhea Ripley from the last year's tournament impressed a lot of people as well. Just the character overall in general of Rhea Ripley from last year to this year, just completely looking different, bigger, thicker. She has the different hair going on. Just her whole vibe is different. It's almost a whole new person in this tournament, one could say. So these two go out of it. It's definitely with Casey being 5'1" and 100 pounds soaking wet. It's almost like that big man, small man type of match. Casey Gonzalez, but it wasn't that because Casey Gonzalez, she held her own. Like in her match with Reina Gonzalez basically dominated, and Casey had to be on defense the whole time. I felt like in this match, Casey had some offense in here. Like Casey, we gotta talk about this. Casey did a tilt-a-whirl DDT, and it looked a little sloppy midway, but she nailed it towards the end. I do gotta say that Rhea Ripley's selling in some of this match is a bit over the top. Like when she sold that DDT, she flipped on her head and then she like went forward and then just like propelled her body backwards onto the mat. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, Rhea. And then after this, Casey hit like a corkscrew moonsault. She hit a corkscrew splash onto the outside, like a corkscrew tope onto the outside, onto Rhea, and she hit the ground. And then she threw her arm up in the air. She hit the ground. I'm like, Rhea, what the fuck? What the fuck are you doing? Like, you're unnecessarily doing like, I don't know if she was purposely doing this or maybe it was her body. I don't know what it was, but some of the moves she was selling, I'm like, Rhea, calm down. It is not that serious for you to be selling a move like this. Anyways, Casey, it was not all glitz and glamour. She did actually botch one of her moves. She went for her leaping springboard dropkicks. Now, I have to give her credit here because I don't know any other wrestler who does this. I think this is really just a Casey exclusive move where she goes from the outside of the ring, leaps into the ring, but puts her 2 feet onto the middle rope inside the ring, propels off it into a dropkick. If you guys watch the match, you know what I'm talking about. So she goes for that, but she misses, one of her foot misses the ropes and she falls to the ground. Now, I thought this is really cool how Rhea improvised this. Rhea clubbed her in the back a few times, and Casey elbowed her in the stomach and went forward again, and this time Batsy hit it. I thought it was cool how they just improvised it. Instead of like how some wrestlers would do, and they would sell the move anyway. So I give them credit for actually improvising to do it again. Jinder Mahal, Jeff Hardy. Anyway, the match went on for a few more minutes up until Rhea Ripley caught Casey Gonzalez mid-move and hit her pump handle powerbomb for the pin. Rhea Ripley winning the match and is moving on to the quarterfinals. This was also a pretty good match. I mean, it wasn't pretty good, but it was good. It was good. Casey Gonzalez, star was made out of her in this match. Rhea Ripley, we all know how good she is. I can't wait for her next match. Hopefully, I think she's signed to a contract. Casey is. We'll see her in NXT very, very soon. Don't think she's going to be NXT Women's Champion anytime soon because of her size, but I would like to see her compete in NXT television. You know, get a good match out of her and Io Shirai, get a good match out of her and Kairi Sane or Bianca Belair, who will just power over the whole match. But anyway, we would then get into the next match, Lacey Lane versus Taynara Conti, or Conchi, as the announcers said. I don't know if it's really Conchi, but they keep saying Conchi. And I'm like, but there's a T there. So how's it Conchi? But whatever. So this match kind of happened. Lacey Lane, she's good. She's good. Taynara Conti needs some work, though. This match only went like 5 minutes. This match was short. And I think that was only to make room for the main event. But this match went like 5 minutes. I can't remember a single spot that happened except for the crucifix slam at the end. When Taynara Conti went for a finisher, which is that spinning side slam. But Lacey Lane rolled her up with that crucifix slam for the 3 count. Taynara Conti is crying after the match. Just like she cried tears of joy after her match last week. It's funny how she went from tears of joy to tears of sorrow. But Lacey Lane is making it on to the quarterfinals. Then we get to the main event. Match everyone's looking forward to. Meiko Satomura versus Mercedes Martinez. And these two had a damn good match. I wouldn't call it great. Some would call it great, but it was damn good. One of the better female matches I've seen all year. They, in the very beginning, they were going at it. They were punching, chopping, kicking each other. At one point, Mercedes Martinez, she chopped the living shit out of Meiko Satomura. This chop was so loud, it echoed throughout the arena. The crowd popped huge for this chop. Then Meiko followed up with a slap to the face, but that was almost not nearly as effective as that chop was. I shouldn't have been shocked by this, but Mercedes was dominating early on in the match on Meiko. She had those chops in, she had the punches in, the elbows. She was sending her into the ropes and clotheslines. Like, she was actually dominating early on. and Meiko had to work defense. But a few minutes later, Meiko started to come back a little bit. Mercedes hit a fisherman buster. I don't know. I don't remember if she had a trio or if she tried twice and just hit the last one. But she hit a fisherman buster onto Meiko, bridging pin and all. But Meiko kicked out at 2. Was close. Crowd was really into it, shouting, "This is wrestling. This is awesome." All that shit. And then Meiko started coming back. She started doing her I wouldn't call it yes kicks because this is it's Meiko. But she hit one kick, swift kick to the chest of Mercedes, and this kick was loud as shit too. I'm like, God damn, these women are really hitting each other. No, they're not holding any punches either. So they went at it a few more times. Mercedes Martinez, however, went for her Dragon Sleeper. It was like a modified dragon. What is it called? It was the Romeo Special. She went for the Romeo Special and then into a Dragon Sleeper. But Meiko got out of it, hit her with a spin kick to the face, and then followed it up with a scorpion kick, which is a step kick, which is like she steps on your leg and propels her body upward, and then uses her other foot to like kick you right in the back of the head. She calls it a Scorpio kick, which is pretty cool. She hit that for the 3 count, and Meiko Satomura wins the match and is making it on to the quarterfinals. And yeah, guys, that was round 5. That was day 5 of the Mae Young Classic. It was some pretty good matches. I thought the main event was definitely the show stealer. The opener was actually really good too. Rhea Ripley and Casey Catanzaro. Good meeting of the minds. I felt like Lacey Lane versus Tenera Conti really didn't need to happen, but it happened. And yeah, that was... I shouldn't have said it like that. But anyway, that was your Mae Young Classic review. Tell me what you guys thought down below. And yeah, I can't wait for next week. Also, just a reminder, I will be live streaming WWE 2K19 tonight at midnight. Make sure you all tune in for that. And yeah, I love you guys always, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace out.